you is over the last 9.5 years, as I mentioned before, Davenport, because it was more working class, it was not respected. And what I want to make sure is that the people here in this community received as much money as the richest communities right across our country. So I have brought in a historic amount of money for seniors programs. There's virtually almost no seniors program at any of our community centers that is not funded. And also youth jobs, which we've brought in, as well as historic amount of money also for our arts and culture, because we have so much arts and culture here and infrastructure. So whether we have fixed a swimming pool at JJ Piccinini, whether we expanded the West Toronto Rail Pass so it allows people to run and sort of do their bikes, whether we actually put in almost $1 million for the skating rinks as well as the clubhouse over at Dufferin Grove Park, we've put in a phenomenal amount of money into this Davenport riding. So I think it's been improved. So that's been a big thing. It's also been very big for me personally. One of the key reasons I got into politics was because I wanted a national childcare plan. We have finally implemented that. That is not just good for women, and it did increase women's participation in the workforce, which adds to our economy, by the way, because the more that you have women working and achieving their potential, the more money, the more our overall economy benefits. But it actually helps overall our families, because families aren't worried about their kids because they're in really great places and they can afford it. Today in Ontario, you are saving on average just under $11,000 a year because of our national childcare plan. The other thing that was important for me was, at the very beginning, we used to use these lines, diversity is our strength. For me, that just meant respect for the ethnicities that we have in Toronto. I hated a lot of the discrimination I saw, and it was silent. It was like, whether it's for the Hispanic community, which I saw a lot, and that was firsthand because of my mom, or I'd also see it a lot for the Muslim community. And the previous government, which was conservative, did not treat Muslims well. And at the time, they made them feel that they were like terrorists. And the reason I would say that, and it's a strong statement, it's because I had a mosque that was one block down from where my current constituency office is. And it took them months before they could actually come in and actually trust a politician, because they were so underground. They just were like, we have to hide ourselves. So for me, I really believe from the bottom of my heart that diversity really is our strength. And we have to give everyone equal access to opportunity in this country so that they can achieve their potential, which is why the credentialing is really important when people come into our country, that we do that much faster, that we support our provinces in doing that much more quickly, that for those like language programs. So for example, our Minister of Immigration, the previous one, Mark Miller, had canceled or split in half or cut down the number of hours or amount of money we give for language programs. For me, it is vital that we, as long as there's lineups for language programs, we offer that for free. If people want to improve their language, they should be able to do that. So language credentialing, so that people are able to find the jobs that they want to do, and be able to have good paying jobs so that they can live good lives here in Canada. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank
you.
So
for them, they did all the hard work, you guys, and the sacrifices, because the first generations here have sacrificed a lot to leave their homelands, to figure out how to establish themselves here, how to work really hard so that their kids can actually have a future. So that's 50% here. The second 50% are second, third, and fourth generations, but very multi-ethnic, very multi-ethnic here. So anyways, jobs and economy, very important. Why it's particularly important now, when you have tariffs, so 78% of our trade is with the United States. The reason that is happening, you guys, is because it became easier for us to negotiate. They have 10 times the market size that we have here in Canada. So we said, well, once we put in the free trade agreement, well, let's keep on spending time on, making it accessible for us to go to the US market. We didn't spend time on the market across Canada. Okay, so that's why we've got so many regulations, interprovincial trade barriers, because we spent all of our time, and it was easy. That we are in a existential crisis. I think our sovereignty is at risk. I love this country. As you know, I'm the child of two immigrants. I feel a deep commitment to give back to our country, the country that gave both my parents a safe place to grow their children and to give us opportunities. And I feel a deep obligation to provide the current generation and future generations that same opportunity to be able to achieve their dreams and potential. So for me, it's been about Mark Carney. I think he brings a business experience. I think he brings public sector experience. I think he's a calm voice. And I think that he's got the respect not only of the business community here in Canada, but also internationally. And we are living through unpredictable times. So you need someone who's quick on their feet, who has some wisdom, who's worked in a number of different places to be able to make decisions. So that is why I'm running. And for me also, look, I'm going to talk to you about the things I feel we need to focus on: jobs and economy, which is number one. Everybody's worried about their own jobs. They're worried about their kids getting good jobs and their grandkids getting good paying jobs. We're worried about housing. We're worried about affordability. We're worried about climate change. Climate change is more in this area. It is not universal, but it'll come up quite a bit in the doors here in Davenport. Community, and it's not just in Latin American small business community. They're terrified. The unpredictability of what is happening, and people are not spending. So what happens is when you are scared, you are not spending money because you don't know what's going to happen. It's not just affecting small businesses, it's affecting all types of business. So even large businesses, they've stopped their capital investment. They just don't know what's happening. And again, this is why, and I'm going to take it back again, I need someone who has experience, and that's why for me I'm supporting Mark Carney. I need someone who understands the numbers. And as you could tell, by the way, he has captured the respect of Trump. Not only Trump, who now calls him prime minister, not the governor, and it's not mentioned, which I'll take, other than governor, and he's also not mentioned 51st state. He also has respect of the premiers across this country that are from different partisan parties. So I believe the Nova Scotia premier the premier of Nova Scotia is Conservative. He's got the respect of the different premiers, and they are from different political parties. Because we have such a phenomenal leader in Mark Carney, and to me, this is the key. It's the key importance of this election. It's the key decision point. It's which leader do you want to lead our country moving forward. So Mark Carney, a lot of people talk a lot about his business experience. What you have to remember, he was a public servant for a very long period of time, you guys. So first let's start back. Born in the Northwest Territories, grew up in Edmonton, child of two teachers. So people forget he comes from a very working middle class background. And it's not he had, comes from a wealthy family and everything was handed to him. So to me, he took advantage of the education system and worked hard and pursued his dream to be in finance, worked as a public servant within the Canadian government, worked his way up into being an assistant governor of the Bank of Canada, then became the governor. And then he was invited for the first time a foreigner was invited to become governor of England, was invited to lead them. He's beloved in Europe and in the UK. Then he decides to come back to Canada, which he's very passionate about, and decides to join the business world. He also was UN Secretary General Advisor on Climate Change. And he also did quite a bit of work on housing here in Canada. So if you talk to housing advocates across our country, he's worked with them on a number of different housing issues. So how is it that we can accelerate? How is it that we can make sure that Canadians have access to not only affordable housing, but housing affordability? So those two things. Hey!